Get ready for a journey into the underworld of organized crime, where one man shaped his own empire during the Prohibition Era in the United States. In this narrative, we will trace the story of Al Capone, from his birth in New York to his final days in prison under the custody of the American government. A deep dive into the rise of one of the most notorious figures of the Italian-American mafia, exploring the streets of Chicago, the backrooms of corruption, the glamour, the violence, and the confrontations that defined an era. The story of Alphonse Gabriel Capone begins on January 17, 1899, in the bustling alleys of Brooklyn, New York, where he was born into an Italian immigrant family.
Al was the fourth of 9 children of a barber and a seamstress.
From an early age, the streets of Brooklyn shaped his character, a boy with a fiery temper determined to overcome poverty.
At 14, a violent altercation with a teacher marked the end of my schooling.
Expelled, he had no choice but to start engaging in temporary work to survive. It was as a bartender's bodyguard that Capone earned his first scars, the marks that would accompany him throughout his life.
An insult to a woman led to a brutal fight, and a broken bottle left my left side permanently disfigured, earning me the nickname Scarface.
But what for many would be a mark of shame became for Al Capone a symbol of his relentless identity. At 20, his fortune changed when he met Johnny Torrio, a veteran gangster from the famous Five Points gang in Manhattan.
Torrio, recognizing Capone's potential, brought him to Chicago in 1920 at the start of Prohibition.
This era would forever alter the landscape of organized crime in the United States. Prohibition, established by the 18th Amendment to the Constitution, shut down bars and banned the manufacture and sale of alcoholic beverages. For Torrio and Capone, it meant one thing: a new business opportunity. They began building an empire of illegal alcohol with clandestine distilleries, smuggling routes through Canada, and a network of bribery involving police, judges, and politicians. Now 26 years old, Al Capone took over Chicago with a mix of charisma and cruelty. He used brutal methods to secure his dominance. Capone was not just an ordinary gangster, he was a sophisticated businessman. Using intimidation tactics, he forced merchants to accept him as a partner, which allowed him to launder money obtained from gambling, prostitution, and alcohol smuggling. Capone quickly proved his worth, and in 1925, when I was injured in an assassination attempt, I decided to retire and hand over the gang's command to young Capone. At the same time, he built a public image as a philanthropist and bon vivant. His expensive suits, cigars, and extravagant parties charmed society, which often turned a blind eye to his violent methods. However, violence among Chicago gangs escalated. The quest for control of the illegal alcohol trade led to the infamous St. Valentine's Day Massacre on February 14, 1929, where 7 members of Bugs Moran's rival gang were executed. Although Capone was in Florida at the time, many believe he ordered the hit. This event marked a shift in public perception of him. Previously seen as a charismatic businessman, he was now feared as a ruthless criminal. With mounting pressure, authorities finally found a loophole: taxes. Never having registered his exorbitant profits, Capone became the perfect target.
In 1931, he was convicted of tax evasion and sentenced to 11 years in prison. During his incarceration, he passed through several penitentiaries, including the infamous Alcatraz.
His time in prison was marked by the deterioration of his health, largely due to untreated syphilis, which began to affect his mind. Released in 1939 for health reasons, Capone retired to his mansion in Florida, living his last years amid delirium and memory lapses.
He died in 1947 at the age of 48, a man destroyed by disease and isolation, but leaving behind a lasting legacy as one of the greatest criminals of the Prohibition era.
This is the story of Al Capone, a man whose criminal life shaped American history. And now, on the last Tuesday of every month, we will explore the lives of other criminals who left their mark on their time.